Okay, here's Rigel's run from Saturday. That part there, that got a lot of people, that tire. That's something I would have never foreseen walking the course. But it sure did, and it was like small dogs and big dogs. Yay! Okay, so watching it in slow motion. That noise in the background is the pump running. It'll shut off here in a second. So it's impossible to see because the A-frame, but I think what happened here with you and with other people who had dogs go to the tire, I think it's because the handler is on the right side of the dog walk, and dogs, you know, kind of tend to want to go with you in that direction. And the tire is kind of like visually like big and noticeable. Not that they can't see the weaves, but and I think that if anyone had to really work the bottom of the dog walk, and they ended up being right next to the dog walk and stopped when the dogs came, when went to move forward again, even if you're like going in a totally straight line to the weaves, I think the dogs just pulled to the tire. Yeah, I don't know. It was really interesting to me. The other thing I thought about too is like, I mean, it was a straight on approach to the weaves and everything, but most dogs stop on the dog walk, and they're not running at the weaves, you know, like if there was a jump, like jump weaves or whatever. And when there's like jump weaves, you know, handlers tend to like slow down or, you know, do something to help the dog collect, but because they were already stopped at the dog walk and then handlers were just running towards the weaves again, I don't know, I just think it was interesting. I would have never foreseen that happening. Looks like she must have skipped a pole or something. So that was really nice cross actually. You like cued it really early with your arm. Your shoulders are turned in. Okay, let's go back. So you put the arm up pretty much when she comes out of the chute, which is good. And your shoulders, you should try to work on, see how your arm is just sort of across your body, but you're not really that twisted at the waist. Now you're starting to twist, but you're also turning your hips and everything. Like maybe work on twisting just, you know, your upper body from the hips, because it'll be a lot more noticeable. Anyway, but it was still a nice turn, and I think she read it great, and she came, and I thought it was fine. Ooh, that looks like that maybe should have been called. So here, what do we have? Pull her off this panel. Okay, so one thing you're going to have to know about her, and I don't know about Ravenna, but Rigel, when she comes out of a tunnel, she is going to look for you. And for her to go to this panel, she kind of had to go out that way. So she comes out and she sees you where you are, and so she just comes to you. And you do put your arm up, but I think it's a little bit late. And think you would have been better off, like when she goes into the tunnel, just stopping right where you are. Let's see, but you don't move too far. You only take like 2.5 steps. But I think if you had stopped right here and waited for her to come out and then converged over that way, I think she would have taken it for sure. But what ends up happening is, we can see where she is in the tunnel. It's kind of funny. She comes out and you put the arm up. But really, she probably needed it right back here. So it was just a little late. And you're, because she was on a line to come to you, and then your motion just is still that way too, so she just comes with you. You weren't really, your motion wasn't really pushing her over that jump at all. She looks pretty happy though, tail's up. And you get up there and get that blind in. I was too chicken to do that. And then you get a pretty wide turn on this wrap. And you were stopped and everything. So you come up, you're facing her. Let's see. You're rotated, you're facing her. This is her stride before she's going to take off. You were still moving a little bit backwards. You can see how far away from she is from the jump. You can see the cone right there, so that's like where the jump is. But, I mean, you were pretty much stopped, but you also pretty much stopped when she lifted in the air. You were still moving just a little tiny bit the stride before. So, and you should work like on Saturdays and training and stuff. If we have wraps, getting out of them sooner. Because, look, you could be leaving now. I mean, she's in the air. And you'd still want to, you know, keep your eye on her and your shoulder open to her so she doesn't take that jump. But you're still there, you're still there, and now you're starting to move, but she's already landing. So even if you're coming to a full stop to try to get the collection you want at that jump is a little late, you can still salvage a little bit what happens after she lands. If when she's in the air, you start moving in the new direction, because then at least while she's in the air, she's going to be like, oh, okay, she's still going to land out here because she can't do anything about that, but at least when she's in the air, she's going to know to come back this way. Instead of taking 1, 2, you know, and she looked like she was going to that white jump too. So yeah, in those, when we have wraps and training, work on getting out. When they take off, move. And I think the end was fine. Yay, Rigel.